It's spooky season, and you know what that means. If you were here last year, you noticed that I was reviewing spooky movies. If this is your first time here, click subscribe because, yeah, you know you want to. You're curious. I'm John Starr from MacMovieGuide.com, and obviously it's October, so like every other YouTuber, I'm gonna review horror movies this month, or at least Halloween themed movies ish. Anyway, this is Cujo. So I've never seen this before, probably for good reason. And it's currently on Max, has audio description, surprisingly. And it's, oddly enough, celebrating its 40th anniversary. So, congratulations to Cujo. The love that you share shows no bounds, even after 40 years. So, happy anniversary to you. This is based on Stephen King's book, just in case you have no idea what Cujo is. And it stars basically nobody you've really ever heard of except Dee Wallace. So, it stars Dee Wallace. I already forgot the director because I wasn't that interested. However, when the opening credits rolled and it listed all the credits and the credits were narrated to me, I saw somebody very interesting in the credits. The DP on this is Jan de Bont. I was like, what? Oh, hold on. Let's go back a bit. So, yeah. Even though I cannot fully appreciate his cinematography for this film, because I'm a blind film critic, I assume it was decent, because it's Jan de Bont, and most of his films were competently made, so I'm just gonna go with that. So it might look good for you visual people. It might also look terrible. I don't know. It's really hard to gauge with this film. This film's kind of stupid. It's based on Stephen King's book about a rabid dog. So I think maybe he had a brain fart and was running out of ideas, and he was like, what if a rabid dog was loose? And then, like, less than 10 years later, they'd have to, like, repair the image of the Saint Bernard by releasing Beethoven and making Saint Bernards lovable again. So, yeah, this is a weird movie. It opens up with a rabbit. I'm not kidding. It opens up with a rabbit, like, coming out, and he's like, hey, what's up? And I was like, oh god, it's a rabbit in this Stephen King movie. This cannot end well for this rabbit. And somehow the rabbit gets chased by Cujo, who's supposed to be like a friendly dog, right? But he's obviously, he's not even rabid at this point. He's hunting down rabbits, so I don't know how friendly he is, but, you know, not every dog hunts rabbits. So, yeah, he's chasing this rabbit, but he can't get the rabbit. The rabbit slides in, and he gets into this cave, and then Cujo sticks his head in through some hole and is barking at it. But what else is in this cave? Bats. So, just like how bats turned Batman into Batman, they turned Cujo into, well, Cujo. So, he gets bitten on the nose by a bat. I'm not kidding. This is really what this movie is. And it shows it, like, basically, you know, I mean, like, this whole thing is just, I feel like, just probably horribly shot for the 1980s. I can't even imagine this sequence. And so he gets bitten on the nose, and he yelps. And he backs out. And then we can start to learn about humans for an ungodly amount of time. This movie is so slow. For those of you who have ever wondered, can we get enough character development in horror films? Cujo is the answer for you. Cujo is what happens when you say that too much and directors go, you know what? We don't even need to be scary. We're just going to develop some characters because that's what horror fans want. That's what they keep telling us. They say they want characters. We're just going to do character work. The whole fucking film. I know far too much about all of these characters. I should not know. These characters should have died a lot quicker. It takes forever for somebody to die in this film. I mean, like a lifetime. I was one of the slowest films. This movie isn't even an hour and a half long. I wanted to do other things. Like if I could see, I would have jumped in my car and like run to McDonald's and come back. You know what I'm saying? Like while the movie was playing, I just left it playing and come back and be like, did he kill? Nope, didn't kill anybody yet. God damn, I live too close to McDonald's. You know, just like one of those. Just I don't like anybody in this film. I mean, I sympathize with some of them. Much like with a lot of Stephen King's other films, there's always like something else to be afraid of. There's another monster, and in this monster, it's domestic abuse. So I don't want to joke about that because that's a serious topic. But that is introduced in this film, and it is a theme. So if domestic abuse bothers you, that is strongly suggested in this film. Not to the point at which I've seen it in other films where it's been clearly the dominant force, but it's obviously a theme of this film. We have a little kid here, Tad, who I don't like to make fun of child actors, but he's a grown-ass man by now. So, this is not a good performance. He was better when he wasn't in the horror part. Like, he's better just being like a normal kid and just kind of like walking around and being scared of his closet. This kid is already scared. This kid is scared of his shadow. You know, he's one of those kids who, in his opening sequence, when we're wondering, is there something else? I didn't think there was anything in his room to begin with when we first meet Tad, but he's like having one of those childhood nightmares where he thinks there's something in his closet. The main villain of this thing is Cujo, so unless he's the owner of Cujo and that dog is in a closet, a Saint Bernard, by the way, you know, I think you would know if a Saint Bernard was in your closet, let alone a rabid one. So I was like, it's either going to be Cujo or it's going to be nothing. There's nothing else is jumping out of that closet. This is not like a multi-purpose film, so nothing came out of the closet. He's not, you know, it's just whatever. But this film just goes on and on. I don't know. There's some dumb shit about like his dad is marketing a cereal that makes everybody shit red dye. I don't even know why that's in here. It's so weird. It's so bizarre. He's got this like kid cereal because, you know, like in the 80s, everybody was eating these sugary kid cereals. It was like the peak, the ultimate peak of those cereals. And and his dad is in charge of this company that's marketing these cereals, and they're really proud of their first commercial. And then it turns out later on in the film that everybody's it looks like everybody's shitting blood because the cereal's so full of red dye. I was just like, what is this in here? This has nothing to do with Killer Dog. What are we doing with this film? Anyway, yeah, this film is, I just assumed because of Stephen King it was worth watching for something, but I can't. There's one scene in this film that's effective, and it's also kind of stupid. There are things that happen in this film that I hate all of these characters. So, at one point, the mom and the kid drive over, and they're in this car, right? And it allows them. They go somewhere, they're in a car, and Cujo is, at this point, he's rabid, and he's attacking the car. That sequence is interesting. It's also interesting because characters are stupid. Um, I don't know how Cujo manages to disable the vehicle, but Cujo manages to disable the vehicle because, my first instinct would have been, I'm in a car, I can leave. But for some reason in this film, the car doesn't work. And the car stalls, so they get stuck there. And they're trapped in the car, and this is in 1983, so they can't be saved by cell phones. But my favorite part of the film is Cujo's attacked the car a couple times now, and they're just stuck there waiting for Cujo, who's like sitting outside the car, like waiting them out. And the kid's got to pee. And he's like, Mom, I really got to pee. And she's like, well, because she can see him, like the dog is like laying down on the other side. And she's like, well, you could maybe open the door and pee outside. And I was like, the fuck kind of movie? Fucking pee in the car. Just like, what? Anyway, so that's the kind of movie this is. This movie was terrible. It does have audio description though, so if you want to sit and enjoy the awfulness of this film. Yes, there is one sequence that is effectively scary, and even when I was looking through, I like to do kind of my research on horror films to see if I missed any of the scares or any of the violence or any of the gore, and I didn't. This film is not very violent, it's not very gory. So, but that scene was mentioned, and somebody in the parents' guide section over at IMDb was like, this scene has made people hate dogs. I was like, cool. You guys know this is not real, right? This is not real. This is a fake film. And also, a great advertisement for why you need to make sure your dogs have rabies shots. So, anyway, yeah, the audio description is fine. It does a great job on showing sort of what I would call the degradation of Cujo. He starts, like, flies start swarming around him as he gets worse, and he's sort of foaming, and his bite wound gets grosser, and I'm sure he doesn't look great. His fur is, for some reason, matted, even though he's not bleeding through that part of his body. His hair gets gross. And the other, I don't know why. I really don't. They just kind of make him look worse as the film progresses for the sake of making him look scarier. And yeah, all of that is in there as far as and other stuff. I mean, I swear to God, most of this is just people talking. It's a really long film of character development, and then every once in a while the dog attacks somebody. But the attack sequences with the dog, aside from the car sequence, are so quick. They're just like done and over with. Just like, that happened. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend this at all. I'm trying to think of reasons to give this any sort of a grade that would suggest anything at all about this is worthwhile. I don't think the acting is bad, except for the little kid. The little kid was annoying the hell out of me. I'm just way over the top. Maybe this was like great for the 1980s. And like I said, I don't usually make fun of kid actors, but this is a 1983 film. He's a grown man, and should be fair game. We should be able to talk about it now. This dude is at least older than I am, because I was born in 1983, and this kid was already acting. So I'm making fun of somebody older than me. So, yes. There's nothing here. Nothing to see. I'm going to give Cujo a D-. If you were planning on spending Halloween catching up on Stephen King films, just sidestep this. I don't even know. This thing has like a 50 on Metacritic score and like a 6 point something, or on, I don't know why. I have no idea. Maybe Jan de Bont's DP cinematography is just so good. And they're like, man, this film is just shot beautifully. Probably is for the 1980s. The dude did shoot things obviously well enough to go on and be able to direct his own films. So maybe this is a beautiful film to look at. That's really all I can say about it, because the rest of it is, whew. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing. I do have a website, MacTheMovieGuy.com. You can go to Twitter, Instagram, or Threads and follow me at Mac the Movie Guy. You can go to the Audio Description Project, adp.acb.org. It'll let you know what has audio description, where you can watch it. And you can go to the adna.org. That's the adna.org. It'll let you know who is narrating your favorite films and television series. That's it for me today. I will review something else that's spooky. And see you guys on the other side, if I'm not eaten by a rabid dog.